You pray, you wait, and you wonder if Allah has forgotten your pleas for marriage. But what if being single right now is not neglect or punishment, but part of His hidden wisdom, protecting your faith, preparing your heart, and aligning your life for something unexpected? The answers may change how you see yourself and your entire journey. Qadr is the term Muslims use for Allah's divine decree. Every detail of life, from birth to death, from joy to waiting, unfolds within this decree. Singlehood is not an exception. It is included in the same wisdom that shapes every sunrise, every storm, and every answered or delayed prayer. The Qur'an reminds us, "O you who believe, seek help through patience and prayer." Indeed, Allah is with the patient. Chapter 2, verse 153. This verse is often spoken to those enduring hardship, and its comfort applies just as much to those longing for marriage as to anyone facing loss or delay. Islamic scholars teach that Qadr is not a cold fate. It is a sign of Allah's nearness and care. Your single status is not random. It is not a punishment. It is a chapter written with purpose, held gently in the same hands that guide your every breath. Nothing about your life is overlooked or forgotten. Marriage in Islam is described as a sunnah, highly recommended but not a strict obligation for every individual. Scholars explain that while the Prophet Muhammad encouraged marriage as a means of tranquility and mercy, he also recognized that not everyone is able to marry at the same time or stage of life. For those unable to marry, the Prophet advised fasting as a form of self-discipline and spiritual focus, saying that whoever cannot afford to marry should fast, for it will diminish his desire. This guidance honors different circumstances and removes the burden of guilt from those waiting longer than expected. In Islamic law, marriage is classified as mustahab, a praiseworthy act rather than fard, an absolute requirement. Every sincere dua for a spouse is heard, even if the answer arrives in a way or at a time that differs from personal hopes. Trusting in Allah's wisdom, or tawakkul, means knowing that no prayer is ignored and that every delay holds a reason rooted in divine care. Singlehood, then, is not an absence of blessing, but a season shaped by mercy and wisdom, just as surely as marriage itself. Aisha remembers the relief that followed her broken engagement. At first, she blamed herself for the delay. Only later did she learn that her former fiancé had a pattern of controlling behavior, checking her phone, isolating her from friends, using religion as a tool for guilt. The engagement ended just weeks before the wedding, and what felt like heartbreak soon revealed itself as protection. For Aisha, what seemed like a closed door became a shield she had not known she needed. Omar, 33, spent years as the sole caregiver for his father after a stroke. Proposals came, but he watched them slip away, unable to divide his attention between a spouse and a parent who needed him daily. Marriage felt out of reach, but the timing was not random. When his father's health stabilized, doors to marriage quietly reopened. In both stories, delay was not neglect. It was a realignment, sparing each from burdens they were not meant to carry at that time. Layla began her first therapy session with hesitation, unsure if talking could ease wounds from childhood. Over weeks, she named the fears that shaped her relationships, fears of abandonment, and of not being enough. The turning point came with a simple breakthrough, realizing her worth was not tied to anyone's approval or timeline. Therapy, once seen as taboo in her family, became the space where she learned to set boundaries and to trust herself. Meanwhile, Yusuf spent his single years volunteering at a local food bank. Each Saturday morning, he stacked boxes and listened to the stories of others, stories of loss, hope, and resilience. Service, he found, was its own kind of healing. The patience he cultivated in those quiet hours and the humility learned through helping became qualities he would one day bring to a marriage. Healing and growth often happen out of sight, and they prepare the heart for what comes next. Supplication is not just a hope whispered in the dark. It is a clear request, spoken with trust and honesty. Many find comfort in making dua during the last third of the night, a time the Prophet described as especially open for answered prayers. Instead of vague wishes, be specific. Ask Allah for a spouse who will strengthen your faith, bring kindness, and support your responsibilities. Alongside prayer, take practical steps. Let your family know you are seeking marriage. Consider reputable Muslim matchmaking platforms that respect privacy, involve families, and require serious intent. Begin learning the basics of MHR, what it means, how it is agreed, and why it matters. These steps are not shortcuts, but sincere actions paired with sincerity and trust. The goal is not to rush, but to prepare with intention and hope. Writing down non-negotiables is more than an exercise. It is a way to protect your heart and your dignity. A checklist can help you notice important qualities. Ask yourself, does this person respect your boundaries? Do they support your connection to family and community? Are they honest about their past and willing to grow? Watch for red flags like controlling behavior or secrecy. That vigilance guards against settling out of fear. Your worth is measured by your taqwa, not by who chooses you. Serving your community, building healthy friendships, and holding true to your values are acts of hope, not desperation. Right now, countless Muslims feel unseen in their singlehood, but faith values your growth over timelines. Your worth is not measured by marital status. It is anchored in sincerity with Allah. You are never forgotten.